Welcome. In this video, we will discuss about the World Trade Organization. The thing is, this particular topic is important from your GS paper 3 and it is mostly now as part of a static topic itself. Now, World Trade Organization is part of your static topic of economy. So, in that regard, I am pretty sure you guys have already read about it. So, we will kind of brush up everything that you have known and delve little bit into recent phenomena too. So let's start this video. So what is the latest context? Why we are reading about WTO? So basically Nigeria's Nozoki Okonza-Iweala was appointed as the Director General of the WTO, the leading international trade body. So WTO is the leading international trade body, and for the first time an African official, and that too a woman, is going to hold that position. So this lady is the first African woman who is going to hold this position, and in fact the first woman who is going to be the Director General of the WTO since its inception, which was in 1995. So you can understand like this is one of the major progressive move which has been made, and from few years, because of the hostility from the Trump administration, WTO has been faltering a lot. So in that regard, this is a welcome change. The administration in US has also changed. So let's hope that going forward WTO becomes a more transparent body. So that is the idea, that is the latest context. Now let's just go ahead and brush up our knowledge about the WTO. So WTO is the successor of General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. So this is the one which was set up in 1947. So GATT, what is known as GATT. WTO is the successor to it. Now what is the major difference between GATT and WTO? So GATT only dealt with the goods. So this was the one which was only dealing with the goods, trades of goods. But the WTO, it went ahead and it has more features. It has goods, it has services. It also has the IP regime. For an example, there is a different agreement which deals with the IP, that is known as the TRIPS agreement. You must have read about it in various news. So in that regard, WTO is extension and successor to GATT. When it was formed, what is the round through which it was formed? So that is known as Uruguay round, that was held in 1986 to 94, and it led to the WTO creation. The agreement through which the WTO was created is famously known as Marrakesh. Now this is your homework. Go ahead and check it out. Where exactly Marrakesh is located? Which country? So just go ahead and drop the comment in the comment section of this video where Marrakesh is located. So the agreement which finally established the WTO is known as the Marrakesh. WTO is an international organization dealing with rules of trade between nations. So as of now it has around 164 members. So it is an international body which deals with how the global trade will happen. Where its headquarters is located? So its headquarters is located in Geneva, Switzerland. So just remember, again a factual kind of information, WTO headquarters is located in Geneva, Switzerland. India is a founder member of 1947 GATT and its successor WTO. So just remember, India is by that definition a founder member of a WTO. So these are certain basic information that everyone should be aware about WTO. Now let's move forward and look into its structure, like what is the organizational structure of WTO is. So there is at the top, which is the ministerial conference. Now this ministerial conference is the one which will have representatives from the all the members of the WTO. So this one will be a representative body, and what will happen over here, this is considered the major policy making body. Every 2 years it will meet, it will decide on what policy to go ahead with, what needs to be discussed more. So this is the one which deals with that kind. So what is the name? Ministerial conference. Under the ministerial conference is the general council, and in that you have dispute settlement body which look into the dispute. So whenever there is international trade going on, there will be dispute involved as well, like the other country is not following through the norms, or there are more custom duty, there are more import, they are not allowing the free trade. All these things, all these dispute would go to the dispute settlement body. And then there is also a trade policy review body. As the name suggests, it will keep on reviewing the trade policy, that how fair they are, whether they are according to the exigency of time or not. So this is the work of the trade policy review body. And under that, you see there is also Goods Council, Intellectual Property Council, and Service Council, which look into the various matter related to goods trade, services trade, and the IP trade. So this is the overall structure of WTO. For your examination purpose, dispute settlement body has been in use, so you should remember that. Appellate body was also in use. Why? Because mainly because the US is the one which was blocking the appointment, and it has almost rendered this incompetent to carry out any kind of work. So in that regard, just keep tap on the latest events also. So this is the structure of WTO: ministerial conference, then you have general council, dispute settlement body, trade review policy body, and after that we have the Goods Council, IP Council, and the Services Council. Just remember this. In fact, this diagram, like if you have any question in your mains in regarding the WTO and its functioning, you can very well draw this flowchart over there. Now let's just quickly also see what are the recent challenges which the WTO is facing. So there is a problem of China's state capitalism. What is it? So basically China earlier time used to tilt towards the communism. But then it shifted the gear and it's moved towards what is now known as state capitalism. So now they follow a different rule book. They are capital in some sense, but most of the things are owned by the state. So in that regard, the WTO framework is not very adaptable for the China's kind of capitalism. Then there are institutional issues also. We just discussed that, for an example, US was blocking the appointment to appellate body. So in that regard, all this kind of institutional issues were there, which was posing a lot of challenges for the functioning of WTO. Lack of transparency. Now the whole process, the whole way in which it functions is marred with a lot of opaqueness. There is no particular transparency in which how the working happens, and that is something which again reduce the trust of the member nation. Then there is a problem of e-commerce and digital trade. Now WTO was formed in 1994. At that time the e-commerce was not that important, but if you look at the world now, most of the things, most of the trade has now even got into the digital form. So in that regard, WTO as of today is not very much into the digital space, and that is something could be considered as a challenge. So there are a lot of negotiation where the developed countries understand it as a different way, and the developing countries are asking for some more concessions. So in that regard, there is a challenge related to how the e-commerce trade is going to get imbibed under the WTO regime. And then finally, there is a problem of agriculture and development. So there is agreement on agriculture which provide kind of special provisions for the developing countries, which most of the time developed countries are not very happy with. So this is something you should read. So there are, again, this is the homework for you. Just read about the amber box subsidies. What are they? Just go ahead and check it out. This is important. This is again a part of your static syllabus now. Go ahead and check out what is amber box subsidy. So in that regard, there is a contention point between how the agriculture subsidy should be given to developing countries, least developed countries, developed countries. All these things become kind of a problematic when the negotiations are happening in the WTO, because WTO is based on consensus. At times it becomes difficult to reach to a conclusion. So these are the challenges which WTO is facing now. For your examination point of view, this organization is important from your IR perspective, as well as a very integral part of your world economy too. So just keep an eye on this. So I hope you have understood this video. If you have any doubt, feel free to drop a comment. Thank you.